Hi, my name's Kathy Skipper and I'm a menopause midwife. Welcome to my channel, The Alchemy of Menopause. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the throat chakra. It is the fifth of 7 videos, one video per major chakra in the chakra system. The other ones are before this, so you might want to go back and look at them before you get to this video. So I will be looking at my notes because I have a tendency to ramble otherwise. So I want to keep this succinct and to the point. So the throat chakra, otherwise known as Vishuddha, is often represented with the color blue. Its main theme is around communication and creative self-expression. And the voice is obviously a big part of it, but it's not all of it. This chakra is also connected to our expression through the written word, through our expression through art, through our expression through dance, whatever form we are offering the world from something that starts within us and is then expressed through us and given to the outer world is really connected to this chakra. So it's a gateway, we could say, between what's happening within us and the outer world. So at midlife, the journey to more authenticity and wholeness is really at the heart of the menopause journey for women. And so this chakra is very much connected to a shift that if women trust and surrender to the real work of menopause, they'll be able to experience a deep shift in this chakra. And I've experienced myself, and I've also um, experienced my work with other women finding this part of themselves. So one of the things that I noticed, way before women get to menopause, is that over the 30 years that I've worked as a teacher, when women start to sort of tune into themselves, feel their feelings, work with more than just their minds, often they express a feeling of blockage or tension in the throat chakra, or just a feeling that comes up in the throat chakra. And this is because women have, for so many generations, had to fit in to a male dominated culture, society, way of life, that they have learned, and their mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers have taught each generation what is acceptable to fit into this type of patriarchal society and what isn't. And so they have learned to, in many cases, reduce their creative expression or control it in some way. And this is really what gets shifted if women allow themselves to connect with the deep feminine during menopause. So, women are often told that they're being bolshy or bad tempered, or it's not ladylike if they express certain qualities of what they're feeling. So, it might be anger, or it might be just a very firm and powerful statement. And they often will feel that it's not acceptable. And so they'll learn to tamper that. So, I really believe that not only is menopause an invitation to become more whole and more authentic for women, it is needed not just on an individual level, but women's voices, women's true expression from a deep feminine part of themselves is really needed in the world today. It's needed to lead us to a more harmonious, ecologically sustainable, socially um, acceptable in terms of, you know, disparity, etc. We need to change the world, should I say, and we need to find balance in the world. And because the world has been so imbalanced in terms of patriarchy, masculine dominated, this feminine voice needs to come out. And that's why I really believe in 2025, women going through menopause and midlife have this opportunity to reclaim their voices and share them with the world. So that's why this chakra is so important. Um, so, in a way, to say that in a more succinct way, we're going from um, women's experience of rewriting and identifying the stories of their own traumas of being a woman their mother's traumas of being a woman, their grandmother's traumas of being a woman, as they clear that channel and work to heal and rewrite that narrative, they actually don't just free the feminine consciousness up, but with that, they free up this sense of communication, of expression. And that's what we're really needing in the world. Um, so I had this experience when I got to menopause. There were a lot of things in my crossroads that I had to work with and deal with. And one of those was sexual trauma, which is very current for a lot of women. And what I noticed as I was healing this and allowing my body to express it in a very safe relationship with my husband, when I got out of my head and allowed my body to express what it needed to express, these sounds came through my body when I was in intimacy. And after a moment, I realized that it was a certain sound that was being expressed. It wasn't just about healing myself and liberating these traumas within myself, but that had an ancestral resonance to it. And I've recognized this in people that we've sat for psychedelic therapy as well. When there's a sound that comes through that is very healing, that has a certain resonance, now I know when that is touching an ancestral story and healing backwards in time as well. And this is to do once again with the throat chakra. So once we clear the motherline trauma, this new energy, I call it a vital life force of the feminine, can flow. And this, as I said, will change our voice. I noticed a change in my voice. It became more anchored, more authentic, more real, more truthful. I knew how to judge the right moment for me to share things. I knew how to listen better, how to be part of the conversation. And that was all through healing the feminine trauma. So, in order to find this part of ourself, and this is another of the invitations that happens at menopause, we have to build a trusting relationship with the unconscious. The Our true expression isn't just from our conscious mind or our ego or our awareness. True expression is really a relationship between the unconscious and then our conscious mind, and then we share it. So we have to build a relationship with our shadow, with our unconscious mind. We can't be scared of it or denying its existence, because then we're going to be scared of or denying a part of our true authentic communication. In contrary, we need to open to our unconscious. We need to allow whatever is ready to come through to flow, and to trust that that's okay, that we will be safe if we allow this truer, more authentic part of ourselves to be expressed. And this, again, as I said, is true with the spoken word, it's true with the written word, and all forms of creative expression. So, what I've noticed is that a lot of women who do have blockages in the throat chakra could come up with thyroid problems, thyroid cancer, hyperthyroid. Um, they could have, for example, I had when I was younger, terrible problems with salivary stones in my salivary glands, which is in the neck area. And I realized that this was to do with undissolved anger. The stones were like the anger that had built up because I hadn't been able to express it. So any problems here with the neck as well can be a pointer that there needs to be some work on the fifth chakra, liberating the voice. So the fifth chakra, another word that you could associate with it is resonance. So, yes, the voice as it comes through, if we're authentic, if we are acknowledging and have a relationship with our unconscious, if we have been clearing the traumas that we've been holding, then our throat chakra will express our true resonance. Instead of finding it difficult to get our words out, we believe in them. We believe in that energy of our own creative expression without judging ourselves, without holding anything back. And as I said, this is where menopause comes in, because we need the voice of the sovereign woman in the world today. So there's not just an individual what's the word, not just an individual um, effect of liberating the throat chakra, but there's a responsibility and a need to liberate the throat chakra for the resonance that we will have in the world. And we need to balance the resonance we have at the moment with this deep feminine consciousness. Um, and so when this chakra is balanced, there's this beautiful relationship between the unconscious and the conscious, between the body and the mind. There's a well grounded sense of resonance that comes through the voice and the other forms of expression. It's concise, it's authentic, it's real. And to fully express our authenticity is to be in our truth and to express that. Instead of, when I was younger, I would try and say what other people wanted me to say. I was very codependent. I'd try and choose what other people wanted me to choose. I'd say what other people wanted to hear from me. I was fearful of letting out my true self because I had a lack of self-worth. I didn't believe I was worth it. I didn't know what would come out. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't healed enough. And so it is through this healing journey of menopause that, and as we go through the healing journey of menopause, we heal the lower chakras. As I said, you can go back to the other videos that I've done on this, but the root chakra gives us an anchoredness that actually helps us to find this anchoredness in our expression. The sacral chakra allows us to feel our emotions, to be in relationship with this watery, fluid, unconscious aspect of ourselves. And then the solar plexus gives us this sense of identity, being confident in who we are. And all these chakras lead up to this expression. So, a lot of people think that the sacral chakra is the chakra of creativity, but there's a difference because the sacral chakra is the creativity in, symbolically and biologically of creating another life through intimacy and through sexual intercourse. Whereas the throat chakra is the ability to create something creative that isn't biological, but is really from our soul. It's a soulful creation, and it doesn't happen by itself. We are part of it. We are consciously willing this process. We decide to do a beautiful piece of art. We decide to sing a song for the world. We decide to communicate our truth. We're literally making a world at each and every moment that we express ourselves and communicate what we really truly mean and are. So, all that to say that real, true inner communication reveals our true self. And that's why at menopause, this is the key. And you'll feel it. You'll know that you've really surrendered to the process and allowed yourself the 2 to 10 years that it takes to find your true, authentic feminine self because you will feel your voice change. You'll feel yourself embodied and you'll feel that embodiment coming through your creative expression. Yeah, and lastly, I think just a pointer to be aware of as you go into the menopause journey is that there is often an inner voice. Some people call it the inner critic. I call it the inner tyrant. It's often for women associated with our inner masculine or a part of the inner masculine that's identified with patriarchy. And so when a woman comes to express something deeply feminine from her deep self, um, this voice might come up and say, who do you think you are? Don't do that. You're not good enough, or you don't have the space to do that, or you shouldn't do that. For example, I'm just coming to the end of writing a book, and it's taken me 6 or 7 years. In the first 3 years, I was battling with this inner critic voice, especially as my book was about healing the motherline, decolonizing the motherline, which is an extremely deeply healing and feminine topic. So my inner critic, which is my masculine side, kept coming up and really putting the baton in my, putting the stick in the wheel and trying to stop me. Who do I think I am? Who's going to want to listen to that? I can't write. All these things. And I had to work through this relationship with the inner masculine in order to tame that voice, to calm that voice, so I could express myself through the written word. So just be very aware of that as you start this work of reclaiming the feminine and finding ways of expressing her, your deepest feminine, in your sovereignty through the fifth chakra. Thank you for listening. I hope I didn't ramble too much. If you like this channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.